Hello everyone, that's Young Fun. I'm Aaron, we're Zappy speaking, and tonight we're going to be taking a quick look at John Oliver being accepted into the Trump Attacked Him on Twitter Hall of Fame. And we're going to be looking at a couple different parts of how he accepts his award and how he interprets it, because he does a few things really well that I think deserve to be really drawn out and parsed apart so we can really see what he does, because I think he does some things that could make us all more effective speakers. With that said, I'm ready to jump right into the video and take a look at him accepting this prestigious award. We'll just be looking at about 30 seconds, but I think it'll give us a pretty good idea of exactly what he does so well. So let's jump right into it here.
An energy that I will agree with him on. Very boring, that is also accurate. John Oliver had his people call to ask me to be on his show. That is a lie. It was very odd to be on the receiving end of a lie that confident from someone who is now president, however weird it says to say that out loud. We never asked him. I even asked all my staff and anyone connected to the show to ask if there had been anyone who had reached out to him in any capacity to ask him on the show, and they all said no.
All right, so I want to draw out a couple things there. So I know Young Fun has something in particular he wants to talk about, but just before he does, I want to talk about the way that John Oliver uses the word confident. He says a lie that confident. Now, when we think of confidence, we normally think of it as a positive thing. We think of someone being confident in a good way. We think of cocky as a bad thing, but confident is a good thing. So it's an interesting use of juxtaposition where we see confident lie. So he's actually combining two things that are one's got a very negative stigma, the other is a very positive stigma. He's bringing them together, and that makes us think a little more, and I think that engages the audience well. Not to mention, what he does is he changes his voice really effectively, and he changes facial expressions really effectively, and that was a lie. And he doesn't quite whisper it to us, but he says it quieter, like he's confiding in us. His eyes go wider and he's kind of like, what's going on? This guy's lying about it. Or when he's talking about how he thinks it's crazy that Trump's president, his voice kind of gets this reticent, almost apprehensive, like, oh, it's crazy to say that. So he does a great job of really showing how he feels and showing the meaning of words with how he says them. And something I'm constantly preaching about to students and other speakers is say things to show their meaning. So say words to show their definition. And I think he does that really well, because he'll say something like, as crazy as to say that, and he kind of goes crazy and he shows that it feels crazy and weird. He does an excellent job of really embodying the emotions and things that he's saying. Not to mention, I just love that juxtaposition of a confident lie. So that was well done. So Young Fun, what are your thoughts?
And I always like Aaron comments on a speaker's delivery of how using their body language and stuff. It can be because of our job and background. I work more with contents in my day-to-day life. So when I first time seeing this clip, what I was drawing is the build-up towards the confident lie. What I mean here is that if a person put me on the place I need to defend myself, I will be saying, no, that's not right. I will defend myself from the get-go. He does the opposite, right? And that creates something unexpected. That's why you have an impression. So if you think about the video, what he does is, yes, my show is boring. It's no rating. Could be waste your time. Of course, it's not really true. People love his show. So by saying in those opposite content, and you already like, what the heck? And then he say, but we didn't really call Trump. We didn't even ask him to be on the show. So that's the first part of the content that's really interesting of 2 years and to a no. And that 2 years at the beginning, making the no even bigger at the end. So you get the feelings, oh, wow. Yeah, that is crazy. The second part of the content I would like to comment on is towards the second half of the speech, of course, is he went out his lens to check if anybody anybody in his circle and in his program reach out to Trump. So he actually spent a good 10, 15 seconds there. I asked A, B, and C. All of them come back to say, no, we absolutely didn't ask. So that second part, affirmative, was the end of first part of confident lie. So that kind of just a beautiful transition from putting himself down, but in order to put his point and message really clear and come across. And that is something we probably subconsciously doing quite a bit in our daily life, especially when you want to deliver any key message. There's two ways. You either hit them with the bad. Okay, that's the key message. Remember it. Or you lure them in, making them wonder what it is once they are into this alley. And you say, okay, that's what I mean it was the message. So the second one, when you deliver really well and really smart and make a very nice impact. So that's why I like this clip very much.
Yeah, and just to comment a little farther here on the way he kind of shoots himself down twice before getting to the big but, the wait, he's lying kind of thing. John Oliver's built a character over time of self-deprecation where he's often poking fun at himself. And I think it actually does, especially in speeches, that can build credibility. Because by acknowledging that, oh, I'm bad at this, but I am good at this, or that this is true. If he always said that he was great at everything, we wouldn't believe him when he said he was good at any particular thing.
Right.
But by emphasizing, no, we're bad at this, but we didn't do that. That actually, to me, from a content perspective, that makes that third point seem more credible. So it actually almost builds evidence for it and saying, like, I admit this and this, but this is still true. Though this is still true sounds stronger because of it. And yes, there is a certain amount of a joke with, yeah, boring waste of time, because a lot of people do like Last Week Tonight. A lot of people do like John Oliver. But I think, yeah, you're onto something there. I think it's an excellent use of the rule of three, which is three things, and using a list of three things, and also a subversion of the third thing, which is another powerful thing. But it's also the result of a long-term character that's been built up that actually I think builds a lot of credibility.
Yeah, and people know their show is doing careful investigating work before they present. So then that's where his second part comes in. He's actually investigating around his circles and, well, does anybody ask? No. so then he was like building on that conclusion, so really firmly and deny the content from Trump.
And that investigation builds on that character that he's developed even more, I think, because his character is one of unsuredness, if that's a word. So where he's shooting himself down. And then it also means his research sounds more effective. So yeah, I think he does a great job of building a character, of using a lot of interesting content devices like the rule of three. But he also does, just to get back to delivery a little bit, he does an excellent job with his delivery, with getting points across in a way that's engaging, because he engages us with his emotion, with his eye contact, with his facial expressions, with his voice. And earlier in the video, what we didn't see is he even talks about it using his voice. He says, thank you, with an upward inflection at the end, because I'm not sure if it's an honor. So he does a lot of really effective things with his delivery that I quite enjoy, actually, John Oliver's delivery in general. And not just because I agree with a lot of his views, but in particular because he does such a good job of varying it and making it engaging all the time.
While we're at the point of delivery, I would like to bring one point to run this up. I think that's something a lot of public speakers will need to use in a speech, is sometimes we need to present some items in our speech. And John Oliver is holding something of this size. So when you present an item, it's awkward. You kind of on your face, broken the vision. So he holding the right place. And second thing people tend to do is looking at the item the whole time and speak to it, while forgetting the audience is right there. So he does really nice balance. He point to the words and speak to the audience. So that become nice presentation set up there while he's keeping engaged. So that's something a lot of time in the corporation, in academia situation, will present slides and data and do not reason like what Aaron did. Do not look at it and read it and just let people hear about it. looking once, pointing at where people need to look at,
Mhm.
and then look back and in their eyes. So that's what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
that 1.5 video, a minute video, I recommend everybody have a look. It's really, really beautifully done.
And just to add on to what we're saying about the props, as I like to call them, we can put them down once we're done with them. I don't think he was allowed to. I think the thing is he keeps holding it. But when we look at our PowerPoint, when we look at our prop, that makes that thing the star of the show. And that's how I tend to remember not to stare at it the whole time. But to wrap this up, we've been really nice to John Oliver because it's a short video, so that makes it easy to be nice, but he does an exceptional job with a number of things. One is his content. It's really well developed, well structured, because he has that rule of 3, and he builds and he uses and builds his character around this, where he demeaning, or self-deprecating, and then attacking the facts or bringing up facts and saying, well, despite these two things, here's the actual truth. So I like that content and the structure of it. In terms of delivery, great use of emotion, great use of changes in voice, as well as some body language, facial expressions, and a real honest use of emotion and expression from John Oliver. So that's all I have to say. I think he did a tremendous job. Any last thoughts, Young Fan, before we close it up?
No, I say everything I like to say. It's a beautiful talk. Everybody should have a look.
Perfect. Well, I'd like to thank John Oliver for getting inducted into the Trump Attack Me on Twitter Hall of Fame. So well done to him. Thank you very much. Stay fishy out there, folks, and we'll see you again next time.
See you.